Once upon a time, in a small village nestled beside a tranquil lake, there lived a girl named Aiko. Aiko was persistent and full of longing. She yearned to find true peace in her heart, something she believed would help her overcome the grief of losing her mother. One day, Aiko heard about an old hermit who lived in a small hut in the middle of the lake. A man said to understand the deepest secrets of the mind and inner peace. Without hesitation, Aiko rowed her small boat out to meet him. When she reached the hermit, she bowed respectfully and asked, "Master, how can I find peace in my heart?" The old man looked at her, his kind eyes sparkling in the afternoon sun. "Row around the lake without letting a single drop of water fall into your boat. When you can do that, you'll understand what peace truly means." Aiko nodded and began rowing. She stared at each wave, hands trembling, trying desperately to keep the water out. But the more she tried, the more nervous she became. Water splashed into the boat, drop by drop. She became flustered and discouraged. She tried again, and again, she failed. Exhausted, Aiko returned to the hermit and tearfully said, "I tried my best, but water still got into the boat. I can't do it." The hermit smiled gently, poured her a cup of tea, and asked, "All that time, you were staring only at the water. Did you see the sky reflected on the lake? Did you hear the birds singing or feel the wind brushing past?" Aiko was silent. The hermit continued, "Peace doesn't come from fearing mistakes or trying to control everything. Peace comes when you live fully in each moment, when you breathe, feel, and simply be." Suddenly, Aiko understood. This time, she rowed around the lake without fear, without tension. She simply listened to the sound of the paddle, felt the breeze, and smiled at the sun. Strangely, the water stayed out of the boat, and in her heart, a gentle stillness began to bloom. In life, many of us chase peace, happiness, or success as if they're destinations, places far ahead, where once we arrive, we'll finally feel light, calm, and fulfilled. But like Aiko and her little boat on the lake, the more we try to control the path, the more afraid we are of doing it wrong, and the further we drift from the stillness we seek. True peace is not found at the end of a journey. It is found in how we live each moment along the way. When we fixate on the outcome, when will I succeed? When will I be happy? How can I avoid pain? We're living with only half of our attention. The other half is lost in fear, pressure, and striving. We forget to notice the bird song, the smell of fresh grass, the warmth of the sun, or the peace hidden in a single breath. Just like Aiko trying not to let any water in her boat, what seemed to be a test of extreme focus was really a lesson in letting go of control, embracing imperfection, and returning to pure presence. When we pause, not to quit, but to listen. When we work not just to finish, but to experience each step. When we sit with our sadness, not to silence it, but to understand it. That is when peace begins to gently enter our lives. Remember, the path to peace isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about living fully with whatever we're doing. True success isn't about achieving something. It's about becoming someone who knows how to savor life, even when things are unfinished or uncertain. And happiness isn't a destination, it's a habit. A habit of presence, acceptance, and gratitude. So don't just look up to the fruit at the top of the tree. Feel every step as you climb. Notice the breeze brushing your face, the strength in your grip, and the joy of simply moving upward. Because sometimes, the most magical part of life doesn't lie in the final fruit, but in the beating of your heart as you reach for it.